Great. It is 9 o'clock on a beautiful Monday evening. I'm in for Chief Meteorologist Tony Manalfi, which means we get a third coffee talk. It's the evening version, and maybe I'm the only one drinking coffee. If that's the case, I'll raise my cup, and I'm okay with that. Such is life. That's okay. But if anybody else is, then cool. If you're having a cocktail or a nice cup of tea, that's okay too. Let's just enjoy this evening together. Just was reviewing some of the 18Z model data. I got to tell you, it's beginning to look a lot like summer in Central Florida. Laura says it's a tequila talk. Hey, no judgment. I don't drink anymore, but if I did, maybe I'd have had a tequila. I don't know. Not if I'm trying to stay awake and at work, but I digress. All right, let's look outside. It's wild how absolutely clear the skies have been this evening. How beautiful is that shot? There's downtown Orlando. Cycling through the current temperatures on the bottom of the screen. Hope you're having a great night. Plenty to talk about in the world of weather. And, at least when it comes to the weather forecast for this evening, it's looking all good. Temperatures, little by little, will be dropping from here. As a matter of fact, let's just take a look outside and see where we're at. Currently sitting in a very comfortable register. Outside now, we're at 77 degrees in Orlando, 79 in the Villages, mid 70s back over to the area beaches. We take a look at the winds, and it's running about 5-10 miles an hour or so. And into the forecast tonight, little by little, those temperatures will drop into the 60s, upper 60s in Orlando, mid 60s for the Villages in Ocala. And I do want to point out the winds are going calm. And anytime you see calm winds, when we start to kind of get into a more muggy pattern, we do want to start watching the Futurecast fog tracker. Now, it had definitely indicated a little more fog earlier, but I think that fog is going to be constrained just up north of us. You can see everybody above a mile, and it's that 1 mile kind of moniker for you where you'll look for fog. So because we're not seeing that, the concern for fog is not really there. All right, so that's a good thing. Looks like a pretty nice night. Everybody's updating their beverage. Thomas says it's a hard cider Monday. I like that. Good evening to you. Jamie, Linda, how are you? Cheryl and Dawn joining us at 9 p.m. It's okay. Listen, when I fill in for Tony, we get to do a little extra work, so I enjoy that. So overnight tonight, it's looking good. Calm conditions, essentially temperatures dropping off into the 60s for some, 70s for the rest of us. Looking at the forecast tomorrow, it's going to be a stunning day. Bright sunshine once again. The humidity dials up just a little bit. And as soon as this graphic loads, I'll be able to show you kind of the overall idea. You can see there a few clouds around, about 85 degrees, our lunchtime temperature, 3 p.m., a 10% chance of showers or so, and then we're going to kind of little by little build. Actually, I need to update that. Hold on a second. Oh, no, that's good. Yeah, I just need to tweak it up just a smidge. 10, 20. Give me 2 seconds. I didn't fix one part of it. I'll get there. Give me 2 seconds. That and that. Okay. All right. The new model data that I was just checking, while in Orlando looking very, very nice, we do look for rising rain chances, just a little bit of a rising rain chance. So we do look to a couple of showers and storms trying to fire up in our western area. Sumter Lake, Marion County look to be kind of the culprits. If we pull up our Futurecast model, let's just kind of look through the evening, nice and quiet, into tomorrow morning, nice and quiet. But notice by about 2, 3 o'clock, we're going to start to see a few showers popping up. And you can see through about 6:30, 7 o'clock in through the metro area, and then kind of 7, 8, 9 o'clock, a little bit of rain around before it kind of gradually fades off. So it's not going to be a ton of rainfall, but when we look to the overall forecast for us tomorrow, you do notice that the rain chances are starting to go up. And the newer model data is saying, yeah, rain chances are going up. As I said, it's beginning to look a lot like summer. So there's that. Have the umbrellas handy? Here we go again. Yeah. And not just go again like in terms of the rainy season, but like, we're starting to and we've talked a bit about this, but like we're going to start to watch the tropics too, right? Because over the next few weeks, the computer models have been hinting at some possible development, we'll say, kind of fitting our pattern too, which I love that. But we'll take a look at the raw GFS model coming up here in just a couple of seconds time. But yeah, rain chances going up. We're getting toward the end of May. Remember, the rainy season doesn't start on like a particular calendar date. You have to wait for the rain chances to kind of be with us and the cold fronts to stop being with us. And we're not there yet, but we're going to be getting there little bit by little bit by little bit. Yeah. How did my yearly review go? Priscilla's asking. I think it went all right. I exceed expectations. What were my notable accomplishments? My first line that I wrote is, the last year has been a very, very busy one. Their first line was starting with the biggest and most obvious accomplishment. So, it went all right, I think. It was good. It was good. I mean, I walked in and was like teasing my news director and assistant news director, so I think it went all right. I'm really blessed to work for some really great people and with some really great people, which goes to the whole Jim Payne retiring thing. We discussed it a lot on the afternoon coffee talk because that had just like happened, and I was kind of still in shock, if I'm honest. I walked out and we walked out to our cars together for dinner, and I looked and I said, I'm not gonna be okay with this. And he said, "That's okay because I am." But it was nice, and we'll have to, when we are done with the weather part of this evening, we'll go bother him, and I'll have to get him on our morning coffee talk as well. But yeah, we'll have to go bother him. Ah, man, oh man, oh man. But yeah, good retirement. Just washed the truck, trying to get it to rain some. Well, we'll get some rain. We'll get some rain. All right. So that's kind of what we're working with. We had talked a lot about how our wet season pattern usually tries to get kind of popped up because of old frontal boundaries. Now, let me take you to the weather maps. A few showers around next couple of days, but you'll really notice things starting to turn stormier and stormier come Thursday and Friday as this old front dies. That brown kind of dotted line there, that's a trough of low pressure or an old front. And because of that, what we're going to end up with is essentially setting up that moisture machine. The question is, does that start the rainy season or not? That's the way to start it. And I told you this morning on the morning coffee talk that the models do a terrible job this time of year of kind of establishing that pattern. And this evening, I think that they definitely charged into it just a little bit better. So here's your 7-day forecast. 30%. We've upped the rain chance almost every day. 30% chance for tomorrow, 30% chance for Wednesday. And then look at Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're kind of getting into that 40, 50% coverage of showers and storms. And Friday in particular, I don't know that the hail tracker goes out that far, but Friday in particular, let's just see if this goes out that far. The atmosphere looks to be cold enough upstairs that we may have a little bit of hail. Yeah, I don't know that all right, not yet. That's okay. The American GFS model does, though. Yeah. Not really seeing a bunch on the grid. European? If the upper patterns stay as they are, though, oh, wait a minute. The European did have something. Hold on a second. So not a ton. Yeah, like not a ton. All right. If the upper patterns stay the way that they are, I would be willing to bet that we may be looking at a hail potential come Friday. So just something to kind of raise your antennae about looking at our 7-day forecast. We'll see how it plays out. All right. When do cold fronts typically stop coming? The next few weeks. Yeah, it's usually kind of mid to late May into early June. That's the normal time frame that we shut this off and we start getting that full-on summer moisture stream. So there you go. Yeah. Linda says, please more rain in Ocala. Listen, that 30% coverage of rain tomorrow, Ocala's got a pretty decent shot of it. Daniel says, I remember his first day. I do too. Yeah. Linda says, you're still awake. Amazing. I'll be a real bear come tomorrow morning when I'm waking the kids up. I'll be up at 5. The kids will be up at 6. So I'm sure that they'll be just as grumpy as I. Jana says, seeing you in the evening is different, but nice. It's nice to be here. Listen, whatever it is, I like to be like the Postal Service. What is it? Nor snow, nor rain, nor dark of night, or something, something, something. That's the way I look at it. Any post officers in here to correct me? Did NOAA release their 23 season predictions yet? Not yet. No, not yet. Dylan says, new wave coming off of the coast of Africa. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the tropics, shall we? First off, let's just low-hanging fruit. How many days away are we? Okay, we are now 16 days away, just over 2 weeks away from hurricane season beginning. That said, the Hurricane Center today started issuing their tropical weather outlooks, this product. Couple of changes for this year. Instead of it being no development expected over the next 5 days' time, it's over the next 7 days' time. Though the models are trying to throw a little something, something, something. What's going on? Yeah. All right, let's talk a little bit about the models, shall we? Here's the raw GFS, okay? Haven't even gotten a chance to really dive into this, but we're going to look at it together. Okay, so this is the raw GFS, and what we're looking at here. But before I get too deep, let's just talk about what we're looking at. Okay, the raw GFS. If you've been around a while, you know during hurricane season, this is one of those things that we show rather often during hurricane season, like every day. Okay, now that said, the orange shades are high pressure or calmer air. The blue shades that you'll see, lower pressure. So right off the bat, like this week, you see that little blue bubble over the Carolinas and that little blue bubble off to our east? That's an old front dying out, bringing moisture. Okay, nothing really anticipated to be tropical, but moisture nonetheless. And you kind of see a little area of low pressure, 1,005 low around the Carolinas. The reason I'm pointing that out is because if you look at our hurricane forecast, now this is valid 6Z, so that's early morning, Wednesday, the 17th of May. Okay? If you look, during that time frame, our hurricane forecast that we issued on March the 1st dictates that in that window, and we say the 17th, but during this entire week, we're going to be watching for a Carolina storm system. Now, it's this part of the pattern. Does it mean that we're going to get a Carolina storm system every version of this pattern? No. But what it does mean is that that's the area that we watch, and bada bing, bada boom, there's a little area of low pressure up there. Okay, so something interesting. All right, we'll work it through, and what's that? Another area of low pressure. Interesting. Let's go back. Where does that originate? Kind of the Gulf of Mexico, an old front, around Florida, and then it comes around and works away. That's a part of the next part of the pattern, which is the Florida Gulf system. See how there's another right there, little piece of energy in the Gulf. Watch it. Right there. See that? Let's go back. Now, here's what's interesting. Okay, so that's Monday the 22nd, crossing Florida, and then getting up to the Carolinas around the 24th. Each time that we have seen, and I'll just go back, each time that we've seen this Florida Gulf Coast storm, if you look on the calendar here, you can see top right corner valid 6Z Monday the 22nd of May. 22nd of May, Florida Gulf Coast storm system. Every time we've seen this particular feature recycle, it has always crossed Florida and then ended up as a low pressure center off the coast of the Carolinas. So it's doing its thing. Again, do any of these develop? Maybe not this version, but these are the weather patterns that are recycling that we're watching and that contribute to our long range forecast package. So it's fascinating. Fascinating when we look at how our long range forecast package plays out in real time. Yeah. Charles says, coffee talk during my bourbon. I like it. Looking forward to that rain at the end of the week. Yeah, me too, buddy. Yeah. So there's that. Certainly something to watch. Let's keep the model going because after that, then we have to start watching off the East Coast for the Nicole part of the pattern. And, that's the 31st of May, starting to watch some lowering pressures maybe out around Puerto Rico. But that's like the time frame that we watch the Gulf Coast storm system. So we'll wait and see. But definitely, you've got the little coastal Carolina deal. And then we fast forward to here where there's the Gulf low. And it's there's not much of it over water in the Gulf, but it's kind of going to bring us a bigger chance of rain. And then eventually perhaps throw a little something. You see that little closed-ish low there? That'll be interesting to see how that ends up trying to play out. Interesting. So interesting, nonetheless, no matter what, interesting. And it all kind of fits into there you go, kind of overall fits into that weather pattern that we highlighted. Now, that's a look at the GFS. Let's switch over and let's look at the European. And I like to look at the European ensemble because it goes out to 15 days. It's kind of cheating. There you go, little coastal low coming off the coast of the Carolinas. And again, that top right corner, that's 12Z, the 17th of May. May 17th, Carolina storm system, so that fits the pattern, all right? Low pressure over the Caribbean islands there around the 21st of May, but nothing. Oh, that's because this is, I see, that's because this is the 18Z run. Hold on. There's kind of a little energy there. That's the 23rd, energy in the Gulf of Mexico and up the East Coast, but energy from the Gulf of Mexico crossing Florida and then wanting to kind of sit. So lots of moisture. At the end of the day, no matter what model you're looking at, though, it's lots of moisture. And another element of the GFS that I want to show you, quite simply, is just the temperatures. Because the GFS has now completely backed off on getting any cold fronts, right? Tell me we're getting into the summer pattern without telling me we're getting into the summer pattern. Just put that graphic up there. Right? I don't see any high temperatures in the 80s. That right there is the GFS telling you, hey, you got some fronts that are fading. You're going to be getting into that summer pattern. Yep. Hope says we need the rain. Listen, if I'm honest with you, we're right there on the cusp of the rainy season. This graphic is the clearest. And you know what's funny? I don't even know. Hold on. Imported data model high-low, but did I get pops in there? I didn't get rain chances on my high-low. Why didn't I do that? I got the Euro. Oh my God, the Euro. That's hilarious. The European, just so you know, the European, so you're looking at the GFS. Oh, it's because the file's open. I'm like, why did it go blank? It's because I had the file open. My bad. Okay, so the European model, I have to refresh this. I don't want to be a putz. So the European model had high temperatures in the 70s coming up. The European model is absurdly bad when it comes to temperatures. So there's that. I thought we were going to cancel the Gulf storm for my trip. It doesn't look like the Gulf part is going to be difficult. It looks like it's going to be more when it gets through Florida and then it kind of loops around into the Carolinas. Yeah. GFS for rain for coverage areas if you can, please. What do you mean, Priscilla? I don't know what you mean. Oh man, GFS is the GFS is always drunk, yes, but at the end of the day, it's still one of the tools. But yeah, uh, the high temperatures are not going to be in the 70s. That much I can tell you. Priscilla says, "I'll take the euro." I know, right? I mean, wouldn't that be lovely? Wouldn't that be lovely? But the summer pattern is on the way. Technically, if you want to get all fancy pants, okay, technically the average start to the rainy season is about 12 days from now. Okay. But I would be willing to bet, truthfully, I'd be willing to bet that this week's pattern sets us up for it. I'd be willing to bet. We'll see. We'll see. At the end of the day, we'll see. County by county rain coming in. Oh, like long range? I Gewalt. You ask so much. A lot of rain. I mean, honestly, it's if we look at we're just getting into the wet pattern. That's all. That's all it is. There you go. Like it's just we're just getting into here. Why is my brain? Here we go. All right. So Futurecast, not much for Tuesday. A couple of showers, but there's Wednesday. A couple of additional showers and storms. Here. All right. I'll back it up. We'll do this officially. So this is tomorrow afternoon. Not much, but a couple of showers. All right. Then Wednesday, kind of focusing out east. Then Thursday, as that front sits over us, you're really going to see an amplified opportunity for rainfall. And then Saturday, in the park. Yeah, a little bit of a lower rain chance Saturday. Sunday, another old front tries to move in, bringing the rain chances up. So, yeah, we'll listen. We'll see. We'll see how this plays out. The models are notoriously bad when forecasting the onset of the wet season, and it looks like it's trying to do that. Will this year be an especially dangerous hurricane season? They're all threatening. So yeah, no matter what the season is, they're all threatening. But will it snow? I know, right? But will it snow? Wondering if this hurricane season will have more wind or water. We have both. Seth, as an aspiring meteorologist and current storm chaser under the umbrella of the National Weather Service, you are the best meteorologist around, just my opinion, but I love everything you do and respect. Oh, thank you, Seth. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What am I drinking? I am drinking coffee, a double shot, baby, because I need to get through the 11 o'clock newscast. Jennifer says the first day of rock. Oh, that's this weekend, isn't it? I need to do a forecast for that. Okay, I can do that. All right, shall we go over and bother Jim Payne? All right, let's do that. Let's walk over and grab Jim Payne. I haven't gone and asked him permission yet, so that'll be fun. Had to bring my coffee. Mr. Jim Payne, we're live on Facebook. Can I come bother you? Oh, he's busy working.
That you bring the Facebook Live.
I bring the Facebook Live with me. All right, Jim. Can I pull the chair? I'm gonna pull the chair.
This is your show.
This is now. I'll tell you, this is this is fairly light. There's not a ton of people because it's late. Okay.
Well, no, the people that are there are the people that are there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm only saying this to set it up because I'm still going to have you on my morning coffee time. You're gonna have to wake up one of these days early.
I don't really do that. That's just not. No, ever.
I'm saying this to the guy who's retiring. You're gonna have to stay up a little late to hang out. We can tape it, but we'll have to get a nice long conversation to talk about life.
Okay.
Liberty and the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah. What you drinking?
Coffee. Listen, man.
Straight up caffeine.
It's 9:20. I'm usually in bed at this time.
You are. You've always been that party animal. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Having multiple kids changes all that stuff.
All of it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How sleep deprived are you right now?
They both sleep. it's not the sleep deprivation as much as it's just the like, okay, go to bed. Okay, go. It's the negotiation.
Oh,
You know,
yeah. No.
you remember that phase of life.
See, here's this is the difference because I've been on nights forever.
Yeah.
And I would, especially when my oldest was like 4 and my youngest was a baby. And the oldest sometimes would wait for me when I would get home after the 11.
No.
Yeah, he'd pretend to be asleep in the room. So there was no negotiation, but I would give him options and say, all right, let's go out and we can watch like part of the Tonight Show. And he was fixated on the Boston Celtics and Larry Bird in particular.
Okay, yeah,
We
yeah,
were
yeah.
living in Indiana at the time.
Uh-huh.
And he would always ask, is Larry Bird on now? And it was amazing how many times he would be.
Oh my
especially if
gosh.
it was a West Coast
Yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah.
So I'd fluff him a pillow, sit him on the floor in front of the TV, which was up a little bit high, and then I'd get his brother up and put him down next to me on the couch, and then cover him with the blanket on the floor. And seriously, within like 2 minutes, he was just out like a
He just
light,
needed dad.
snoring
Oh
on
my
the floor.
God.
And
I
then
love
his
that.
brother would stay up and then and watch television. And I was fine because I was just winding down.
Yeah, yeah, right,
So,
right.
yeah, it was wonderful dad time.
I remember when they were little and they wouldn't sleep. As sleep deprived as I was, I would cherish those moments because everybody said, yourself included,
Yeah.
you know, that the nights are long, but the season is short.
Yeah.
So, so good. So the kids sleep, but it's waking up before them to get their breakfast ready. You know the rat race.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Mhm.
but I'm doing okay. But this isn't about me. I didn't come over here to talk about myself. I came over here to talk about you because you had a little announcement today.
Maybe.
You
Maybe
might
I
have.
did.
So he celebrates a birthday yesterday,
Right.
and I'm settling into bed with the wife, and I'm scrolling through Facebook, and I see your wife post a picture to Facebook that said, the caption said,
And so it begins.
and I texted my wife and said, "Ah, crap," because I had a feeling I knew what that meant.
Yeah. Yeah, she really wasn't.
I don't mean to get her in trouble.
Oh, no.
No, I don't mean to.
There's nothing that my wife can do that would get her in trouble.
Yeah.
No. But it was a little bit cryptic, and it really didn't mean anything. But you throw that kind of stuff out there, and I mean, I turned 65 yesterday. People automatically jump to conclusions when they see something like that. Yeah, the caffeine one, but nobody said anything. And then today, when I did the announcement, we had concocted this scheme weeks ago,
Okay.
and just assumed that somebody would find out about it, and nobody did really.
That's what he thinks, but go ahead.
But one of the traditions that my wife established here for my birthday is that she would go to a place called B Cupcakes.
Okay.
I think they have a couple locations in Central Florida.
Yeah.
Their cupcakes are fantastic.
Okay.
And I don't really eat sweets much, and I don't eat cake, but I eat B Cupcakes.
Okay.
And so every year for like the last 12 or 13 years, as long as B has been around, she would go and get like 4 dozen cupcakes, and I would just make some weird announcement over the loudspeaker system, and invite everybody to come celebrate
Yeah,
my birthday and
yeah.
have a cupcake.
Yeah.
So I did exactly the same thing today that I would normally do. Picked up the phone, made an announcement over the loudspeaker, invited everybody down. But this time we had a table set up in front of the studio and not just random sort of throw down like we normally do. And I was wearing a microphone, but I always wear a microphone, so I didn't know that I know if people would.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then 2 of the photographers had gear, and they were recording the whole thing. And I think by then everybody figured,
Well-
this is more than just the normal one.
So we don't hear the PA system in the studio. So I heard something, and I looked out, and it was as if Al Roker was in the newsroom, like everybody's gathered around. And so I walked up and I said to Michelle Imparato, she was at the desk, and I was like, "What's going on?" And she said, "I think the show's about to start." Like, I think she had figured it out at this point. She's like, "I think something's about to happen." And then I looked and saw you at the table and thought, ah, crap, there it is.
Yeah.
And then, ah, crap, there it happened.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, so these are all the comments, and everybody is wishing you a happy birthday and a happy retirement. Janice says happy birthday and happy
Oh, look at
retirement.
that. Yeah.
Everybody's happy 65th to you, Jim. Priscilla
Thanks.
says.
Yeah.
So everybody's wishing you well wishes. So what's the next chapter in Jim Payne's life?
So before we get there,
Okay.
I have invested a lot of time and energy in a couple of different charities and groups here in Central Florida over the last 23 years.
Yeah.
So on my last day, I have invited my friend Sherry Wheelock, who's the CEO of Special Olympics Florida, the head Juliet Kong, who runs Kids House in Sanford, a children's advocacy center. I want somebody from the Edgewood Children's Ranch here. I'm debating on a couple of others, but I want that last day. I don't want people to forget about the things that were really important to me. So I'm going to have them come on, and between 4 and 6 o'clock that afternoon, probably every half hour, just have a little time to chat.
That is so you.
And just and share and laugh and say thanks back and forth, because you always get more than you give when you do stuff like that. Actually,
I'm sorry. I'm taken aback by that. It's just so you. It's just so you.
Yeah. Well, so one of the first phone calls I made today, because when I knew for sure this was happening, it's like, okay, what is the artful proper way to handle something like this? Because you really only, unless you're Tom Brady, you really only do this one time. So, but I kept thinking there's certain people popped into my mind. You know, who do I want to tell? Who do I not want this to come secondhand to? And I actually ended up with several people. So I started calling people this morning, a couple this afternoon. But I specifically, I've been volunteering at Special Olympics for 43 years.
Wow.
In different states, and I've been on the state board here, and I put a lot of time and energy and effort into trying to help people with disabilities have better lives. And so I called Sherry at Special Olympics today and said, because she's not only do we work well together in that venue, but she's my friend.
Yeah.
And so I didn't get her at first, left her a message. And I knew that she was going to call back and say that she had cried a little bit.
Yeah.
And
so you left her the message,
with
the news.
With the news.
Okay.
And then she was able to get back. It was short. I think it was shortly after we actually did all this stuff.
Yeah.
And so we're not finished. I'm not finished with all that stuff.
I love that. Yeah. You said one thing earlier that really struck me, and it's you still want to do. Is it fun things with neat people? Is that what? How did you put it?
I think that just came out.
It's so. I mean, but that's so. Here's the thing. You know the Jim Payne that sits and reads the news, but he's such the gentleman that you think he is. And I'm not just saying this. I mean, a mentor, a community leader, a kind soul. And so you could be not here, and I would say these things. And anybody that's ever met you, I would imagine, would say the same thing. And so it's so wonderful to hear that you want to continue to do these things. Just because you're retiring, now you get to do the things you want.
Right.
Not that news isn't what you want to do, but now you really get to focus on your family and your passions.
Right.
And you've always had that, but now you get to kick it into the next gear.
So what I really want to do, and this is a little bit weird, but so our plan is to move to Nevada to be close to our grandkids, Sharon and I, after September 1st. There is, we already have a house out there. It's in Mount Charleston.
Okay.
Outside of Las Vegas.
Okay.
7,250 feet above sea level. They get a ton of snow every year. And actually, if you go out the front street out of the neighborhood and then kind of whip around one of the mountains, on the other side of that mountain is the Lee Canyon Ski Resort. They had so much snow this winter that this past weekend was their last weekend of skiing.
You're kidding.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing. And I want to drive the snowcat
my God.
at the Lee Canyon Ski Resort. And Chopper Dan McCarthy, that name might be familiar. He flew helicopters here at WESH-2 for probably, I think, 6 or 7 years.
Oh, if not longer.
But in Central Florida for a really long time. And Dan moved out to Bryan Head, Utah, which is a downhill skiing mecca. And part-time, he drives a snowcat.
Shut up. I didn't know that.
So I reached out to Dan, and Dan, I think this is how I don't want to get this wrong, but Dan, all I wanted to know was, do you think that I can do that? And And Dan would, even if he thought that I couldn't do it, he would tell me that I could.
Yeah.
So I have a little bit of fuel and in that area. And then the other thing that I was thinking would be kind of cool, and I'm a big sports guy. I follow sports all the time. But my wife and I have been to a Vegas Raiders game.
Yeah.
And that new stadium is fantastic. And I was thinking, part-time, help out with the football team.
Why not?
Do something like that,
Oh my gosh.
So, but but even if I do nothing and just, work on this project of a house that we found out there, then, life is still pretty good. And I still get, mission accomplished. I want to be a part of my grandkids' lives for as long as I'm physically able. And to have fun, do neat things with fun people.
Jim loves to run. Can you run in this? I mean, if they get so much snow, how do you keep running out there?
You don't really, there's kind of an on season and an off season for that.
Yeah. Treadmill, Peloton.
Yeah, I guess. My son is a major bike rider.
Yeah.
He's really good at it.
Yep.
And he doesn't run, but he says, there's just certain times out of the year when it's just it's just not safe to do that sort of thing. He said, but when it's the right time, it's the best time.
Oh yeah.
And they're running, I think I saw the forecast for this week was sunny every day, 12 hours, more than 12, 13, 14 hours of brilliant sunshine and a high of 71.
Oh my God, come on.
Yeah. People in the town where we're moving to, they don't have air conditioning because they don't need it.
I was invited to this house and you said that there's no air conditioning, and I mean, you're high enough that I guess it's not like that desert heat plays as much in, you know? Huh.
Yeah.
That's exciting. What are you most excited about just looking at your future? What is the one thing that you just are tickled over?
The weird thing is I don't set an alarm now, and I don't anticipate my life ever having that part of it in it. But if that's okay here and there, that's fine. I think I'm ready for something different to do.
You've done this a long time.
Yeah.
You've done, I mean, at WESH, 23 years?
Yeah.
23 years and 40, how many in the business?
Got my first real job in 1978.
Yeah.
So, long time.
Wow. What would you say to an aspiring journalist who's just on the precipice? Because I saw a couple of aspiring meteorologists, and I saw somebody that was an aspiring reporter pop in. What would you say to them as you're kind of looking back at your career?
This is an awesome career, and it's an awesome business, and I think there's so much upside. And 5 years from now, it's not going to be anything like what we're doing right now. So you'd be getting it at a time where change is imminent and exciting, and even I mean, as old as I am, I even embrace some of this nonsense that we're doing. But we're always going to need people to find and tell the truth. Yeah. And especially now with this, everybody kind of sort of diametrically opposed and choosing up sides. They need really good sources of information, and that's what we do. And I know that from personal experience that people tend to hold their local journalists in much higher regard because we're a part of the community and we're invested.
Yeah.
And this is, I say all the time, this is my home.
Yeah.
And it's important to me. And, so I have relationships with a lot of the people that make all the decisions, and I'm not afraid to ask them hard questions but know what's going on and be able to go a little bit further than just, surface coverage of events and things like that. And if you're curious and you're thorough and a little bit artistic, I think there was really a place for you, not just in television, but in modern media altogether.
Yeah, I love it. All right, well, we're going to, I could talk all day, but we all have newscasts to do.
I would second that, actually. He could literally talk all day.
This is.
I've known him since he was in high school.
We don't need to beat me down here, Jim.
No,
okay.
I'm actually. What I'm impressed in with you is, you told me that first time that you are doing exactly what you said you wanted to do.
That's true.
And you sort of had had this path carved out and you were going to follow it. And nobody ever stays on exactly the path that they imagine. But as long as they're achieving that goal,
Yeah.
and you have done that, that's pretty darn admirable.
It's
And not only that, but you married way over your head. And
That's a goal.
And your kids are great. And
That's a goal.
Yeah, and people mostly say nice things about you.
The other ones I just don't listen to.
Yeah,
Listen,
exactly.
and I get to work. I mean, I get to work with the guy I grew up watching. So,
Yeah.
not to age you or anything,
Yeah.
Jim.
No, nobody has here lately. Yeah.
It's okay. Says the man that's retiring. Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll have you again where we'll get the viewers to ask you questions because
Okay.
this has been going and yeah, I can't keep talking because we have a newscast in 19 minutes.
Yeah, we do.
But
You do.
I do. Yeah, you
Yeah.
get relaxed, do your work. Thank you,
I'm gonna
Mr.
do that.
Payne.
All right. Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you, everybody.
Such a pleasure. Mr. Jim Payne, everybody, the legend in the flesh. Man, oh man. All right. So, any questions? Here, while we're walking, let me just dial up the 7-day forecast here. That way we can cover that base as well. Oh, thank you. Thank you. And with that fun shirt. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So for tomorrow, we are upping the rain chance just a little bit. 92 degrees, the high temperature, 30% chance of rain. We're looking at about a 30% chance of rain for our Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, looking more and more like we're going to get into a rainy season type pattern. I apologize, I couldn't take all of your questions. He's so wonderful, and we'll have to have him on the morning Facebook so that we can really dive into those questions. Jennifer says, I grew up watching him too. It's true. It's true. Oh, so wonderful. Will I put a special forecast out for Jim's retirement? Matt, we'll have to. We'll have to. We'll have to do that. All right. Thank you for hanging out for Coffee Talk this evening. And so many thanks to Jim Payne. Not only, and see, I'll tell you this just because he's not around, so he'll never hear it. The man is a damn good guy. He's such a kind soul. He's such a smart guy. And you want to talk about a mentor? Like, they just don't come like that. He's a genuinely kind person. He wants to help, and it's a great loss for Wesh in that respect. We have great people that will be stepping up, but man, I'm going to miss Jim. I'm going to miss that mentorship. All right. Brand new forecast. You saw it first here on Coffee Talk. We will show it on TV at 10 o'clock on CW18, and then at 11 o'clock, we will do our thing as well. All right, and then I'll see you in the morning for Coffee Talk at 8 a.m. They're turning on the studio lights. Then you know it's TV time. All right, be the sunshine. I'll see y'all later. Take care. Thank you. Bye.